Hey, what's going on, guys? In today's video, I have a very interesting topic for you, and that's on how bodybuilders actually get so big. How they go from being average sized humans to massive mass monsters. To put into perspective the sheer amount of muscle mass they have, let's take a look at the average weight of a bodybuilder. 250 pounds. Of course, these guys have bones, organs, and some body fat to keep them alive, but if we took all that out, these guys on average are carrying 230 to 240 pounds of just pure muscle. A bodybuilder will have more muscle than the weight of an average male, which is said to be about 190 pounds. And get this, guys, only a small percentage of the human population can actually get this big. No matter how much dedication, hard work, and passion you may have to bodybuild, only a few percent of our population is capable of this size. The determining factor of how big our bodies can get comes from our genetics, specifically our genetic potential for putting on muscle.
Another thing you gotta have too is genetics. And probably like 1% that could get as big as I got.
In science, guys, many hypothesize that humans adapted to walking, running, and endurance-based activities rather than adapting to being very muscular and being involved in strength-based activities. Daniel Lieberman takes this further. Being a top evolutionary scientist, he believes that humans actually evolved for endurance running. This may be a potential reason to why most of the population doesn't have the genetic capabilities to pack on super physiological amounts of muscle. The guys we see on the bodybuilding stage and the ones we classify as mass monsters are the 1% of the population that have the capability to get to that superhuman size. Genetics are a factor in almost all sports anyway. The guys you see that are at the top are usually the most genetically gifted athletes. Of course, hard work, dedication, and skill are all required to be an athlete, but the best of the best are the athletes that have the top dedication, hard work, discipline, but also have the top 1% genetics. On the topic of genetic freaks, it'd be criminal if I didn't mention Ronnie Coleman. Let's talk about a guy who looked like he belonged in a Marvel superhero movie. A man who turned pro in bodybuilding, possibly as a natural. Ronnie would pack on muscle mass that no one has been able to replicate, with a physique that showed the world the true power of insane genetics, hard work, discipline, and dedication. The former police officer and 8-time Mr. Olympia champion brought a body to the bodybuilding world that no one had ever seen. In fact, he would go on to weigh 300 pounds on stage. This would put him at a fat-free mass index of 40.167. Arnold Schwarzenegger, who I'm sure you guys know, had a fat-free mass index of only 28. I don't want to get too distracted from the topic of this video. A common chart that many refer to is the rate of muscular gain in males per year. This chart shows you how much muscle mass you can gain for each year of your lifting career, with the first year being the year you gain the most muscle, being about 20 to 25 pounds, and muscular growth halving every year until you hit 4+ years. This is then where you'll only gain 1 to 2 pounds per year until you reach your genetic capabilities of building muscle. Unfortunately though, this chart is heavily inaccurate and misleading. It only really applies to people with top level genetics. Let me explain. If we take the higher ends for each year and sum them up, that gives us 46 pounds of muscle in 4 years. Even steroids won't give you those results. Look guys, if you start at 150 pounds, in a perfect world, that rate of muscular growth puts you at almost 200 pounds. Most people, unfortunately, won't be able to do this in 4 years, even on steroids. The use of anabolic steroids is present in competitive bodybuilding, but this is because these compounds allow bodybuilders to take their bodies to the next level. Steroids, of course, will help you gain muscle significantly faster, but even with the use of anabolics, most of the population will never get as big as an open bodybuilder. The mass monsters you see, like Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler, Big Ramy, Phil Heath, these guys were all the guys that fit in the higher ends of the graphs I showed. They worked really hard to put on mass naturally, and then they saw their genetic potential in the sport. They then would proceed to take anabolics to further gain more muscle until they reach the size they present on stage. With the use of the anabolics, that fourth year on the chart I showed, and onwards, where you would only gain a small amount of muscle, with anabolics, they allow you to gain significantly more, sometimes to even up to 10 pounds a year. Steroids, although part of the equation to get big, aren't the driving factor to bodybuilders' success. To better understand this, let me show you the muscle building pyramid. The muscle building pyramid stands on 3 important pillars: proper training, proper diet, and adequate rest. On top of the 3 pillars, we can then add anabolics and supplementation. See guys, if we take out any of the 3 pillars, the pyramid tumbles. So let's highlight what proper training is. Proper training means going to the gym on a consistent basis, giving each workout 110%, and making sure that every time you work out, it was progressively better than the last workout. This could mean adding more reps, more weight, or improving your form. Moving on to diet. Bodybuilders need to eat. An average bodybuilder will consume roughly 4,000 to 5,000 calories. They spread these out within 5 to 6 meals, and these meals consist of clean, wholesome foods. Although eating is fun, when you eat 4,000 to 5,000 calories of clean food, it's actually very difficult. The reasons why bodybuilders eat so much is due to their bodies having so much mass. The more mass you have, the more calories your body burns from just being alive. And lastly, adequate rest. Guys, your muscles grow when you sleep. We've all heard quotes saying, "I'll sleep when I'm dead," or "sleep is for the weak." But when trying to maximize muscle building, bodybuilders will have the most success when they sleep at least 7+ hours and take 1 to 2 days off a week from the gym. Gaining muscle is honestly a very simple equation. You train hard, eat right, and you rest wisely. An average male following this, even with average genetics, can pack on a decent amount of muscle mass and have a really good physique. I'd like to close this video off by saying that in no means is being this big healthy. The bodybuilders know that, and they weigh their risk to reward ratio when doing so. I really recommend watching the Men's Open Mr. Olympia or any Men's Open bodybuilding show, because it's truly amazing that our bodies can become this size. And as always guys, thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.